Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is totally different from what I normally post, but I got this really sweet comment asking me about how Alex and I met. I talk about him so much in videos, but I guess you probably don't know our full story and stuff. Any excuse to be able to share about him and our relationship and stuff, I am thrilled to do so. I just think he's the best person and I love him so much. So today is a little video diary all about our relationship. God, I'm feeling cheesy. This is a good time for me to film this. Alex and I both went to Arizona State University. Go Devils. We actually met the week before I started my junior year and he started his senior year. So Alex is 1 year older than me. We lived in the same apartment complex and had like mutual friends. From the very first time that I met him, I could tell that there was something very different about Alex. Let's just put the actual whole story out there. But I had a friend who was kind of interested in him, and I am a girl's girl and I will never cross those boundaries. And I also just wasn't really interested in dating people in college much. And so he was kind of just off limits for me. But because of that, we were able to grow a friendship and we always just clicked. Like we always got along so well. It makes me cringe to think back to this, but like if you were in Greek life in college, you'll get it. Like he adopted me as like his little sister and he was my like big brother kind of thing. And I made him like a whole fraternity paddle and everything. And we just were really, really close for that entire year. Fast forward a year, when he graduated, I remember his family had come into town for graduation and he asked me to go to lunch with all of them. At the time, like I was so excited because he meant so much to me, but I also just never saw a possibility of us dating. Like number one, I just didn't think that he would have been interested. It never seemed like it was actually gonna be a reality, but all the same, I was so excited. And his mom always tells me, number one, his mom is like one of my best friends, but she tells me that when she first met me that first time, she told Alex and was like, "You're going to date that girl." And he was like, "No, mom, she's like my little sister, you don't get it." And she was like, "That's stupid, grow up, you're going to date that girl." And he was like, "No, no, no." Then when I started my senior year, long story short that we don't need to get into, my friend who was interested in him, we weren't friends really anymore. Alex had moved home to New York and then had come back to Arizona. We had stayed really close like through the time that he'd left and he came back. Like he would call me and we would talk all the time and we would text, and like I remember feeling like so genuinely sad when he moved away, and then I was so excited when he came back. And he came back like I'm still in college and I would pull all-nighters to study, and I would text him when he would get up at like 6 a.m. for work the next morning. He was the only person who I knew was up, and like we would chat then. I was a server at the time and he would like come to the restaurant when I was working shifts. Even if he wasn't gonna eat, he would just like come and sit at the bar and hang out. And like this whole time we were still just friends. Like we'd never crossed any boundaries at all. Halloween, we dressed up as like a cop and robber sort of situation. And I remember he held my hand on Halloween, but it was still in just like a very friendly banter sort of way. But I would spend like every weekend with him, but nothing would happen. Like literally nothing would happen. He wouldn't kiss me. Every once in a blue moon, he'd like cuddle me a little bit, but like there was still such a hard barrier in the sand. Like we were just friends, and it was like kind of confusing, but I loved being around him so much that like it didn't matter or bother me. I remember like February of my senior year, my sorority does like a crush dance where it's like Valentine's Day themed and you wear like hearts with your crush's name. I remember he kept saying like he wasn't gonna go back to a sorority date party or anything because he was graduated and it's a little bit weird, but he was like, "I'll give you one free pass, like I'll go with you to one this year." And he came with me to Crush, and like we have such cute pictures, and he kissed me on the cheek and like he held my hand and stuff, but still nothing past that. It felt so flirty, but we were still just friends. I literally couldn't understand it, and I couldn't understand it because I knew he was spending so much time with me. I knew he wasn't dating other people, and I wasn't either. Maybe like right after my birthday, which is in April. Actually, I have it in a piece of art up on the wall. Hold on. I'm like so cheesy. I keep track of all these things. We met August 20th, 2014. Oh my gosh, it was right before my birthday. I was close. He kissed me for the first time on April 3rd, 2016. Wait, that's tomorrow. How cute. I remember he kissed me for the first time and I was like, I wonder if this is a fluke. Like this can't be real. And then that week we like went to dinner with his grandparents, which we used to do all the time. His grandparents were snowbirds, so they would come and be in Arizona for extended periods of time, and they would take us to dinner. And it confused the heck out of me because I was like, I'm spending time with your family and you're bringing me around, but like I'm not your girlfriend and I don't really know what's going on. And there was one time, this is gonna be such a rambly video, but like welcome to my video diary. There was one time we're at dinner with his grandparents and I love his grandma. That woman told me that she loved me probably a year before Alex told me he loved me. But we're there and a bread basket comes and he's buttering a piece of bread. And she goes, Alex, give that to her. And he's like, no. And we're very independent people. Like he knows I can butter my own bread. But he's like, no, Grandma, she can butter her own bread. She's like, no, be polite and give her the bread. And he's like, no, Grandma, she's not my girlfriend. And she goes, yes, she is. And he goes, no, she is not. And she looks at me and she goes, yes, you are. And I'm just sitting there being like, I'd like to die now because I would like to be his girlfriend and I'm really confused. I don't know what to do. It was just like this funny little bit, but we always say like his grandma told me she loved me before he did. So anyways, he kisses me for the first time. I feel like it's a fluke. He asked me to dinner with his grandparents that week. And then afterwards we went back to his place and we were watching an episode of Drunk History. As he's editing this, I don't even know that he knows that I remember all of this, but I don't forget anything and it's a blessing and a curse. But we're watching an episode of Drunk History and he kissed me again and we're like stone sober. It's like a Tuesday night. And I just remember being like, oh shit, this might actually be something. Even still, like I didn't trust it. I didn't feel like I knew for sure that something was changing. We kind of lived in this little bit of like a no man's zone for like a month until I graduated. I think I graduated on like May 5th. Honestly, I should have checked the date for that one because it's up there too. I think it was sometime around May 5th. Wait, no, I'm so stupid. I know it was May 22nd. I'm an idiot. I know what our anniversary was. Graduated college, and it was the weekend after graduation. We'd gone to some bars. My little cousin put this in the vows, and it's just one of the stupidest things. We'd gone to some bars, and he pulls out his phone, and he was like, hey, I want to show you something. And I was like, okay. And he pulls up my Twitter. And I used to be just a twat on Twitter, to be totally transparent. My love language is like poking fun at people, I guess. And them doing it back to me, and just like not taking life so seriously. There was one time Alex had said, he goes, I think I'm just gonna lower my standards and date somebody. He was just being an asshole, but he wasn't talking about me. And I was like, I'm going to post this on the internet. So that way, one day when he is dating a girl who's not me, she knows that he lowered his standards to date her. I posted it. I'm dumb. And I posted it to my Twitter and he pulls it up. And at this point, we're not dating, but we're also like not dating. And I remember just being like, oh my God. And he was like, what? We're not dating. And I was like, oh my God. Like as if I didn't want to die when I first saw the tweet. And then he goes, we're not dating. And then I doubly want to die. I don't know what to say. And he was like, will you be my girlfriend? And I was like, yes, obviously, but like, why now? And he was like, you were still in college. I don't date college girls. I wanted you to like finish up college. It was also that like he wanted me to have my freedom and be able to do what I wanted in college as well. It's so funny for me to think back on it because I was so obsessed with him through college. Like we have all these like really cute pictures together. I would go and tell my friends like, you should date him. He's the best guy that I know. And I think he's so cute. But like for some reason, I never put myself in that category. I talk about it all the time now that we're like married and having a kid. And I'm like, I cannot believe that we got here. If you would have told me in college that I would have ended up as Alex Eimler's wife and having his baby, I would have been like, I don't know what you did or how you pulled that one off, but like, good job, kid. You did a good job. So that's how we first started dating. At this time, I'm 22, he's 23. We were still like living with roommates and things. I ended up stopping living with roommates and moved into my studio, which is where I started my YouTube channel. And I lived there for a year. People always talk about like the honeymoon phase of a relationship. And don't get me wrong, our relationship has always been really good, to be totally honest with you. But me, myself, I had so much I needed to learn as far as just instilled trust issues that I had from growing up in like childhood trauma. And I needed to learn how to better communicate. I wasn't really a great communicator when we started dating. Alex is very good at communication and taught me a ton. When people talk about like, oh, it's always easiest in the beginning, I always think to myself and I'm like, I think the first couple of years of our relationship were the hardest. Not that they were hard, but they are just so much harder than they are now because we were learning each other and we were learning how to date versus now, like that's my person. Like I know him inside and out. And so it's just so different. But first couple of years lived apart. And then in 2019, we bought our place in Phoenix together. That was super fun. We were such kids and we bought it fully knowing like this is just a business transaction. Like at that point we'd been dating for like 2 years. And so it was like, everything's going really well, but like, who knows if we'll stay together? Like this isn't, I need you to leave.
Hello, you two.
No, get out of here. I'm being sappy and I'm talking about you.
About me?
Yeah. Maybe you can take small boy out and leave me alone to keep talking about you.
Okay.
Thank you. But yeah, buying our place was super fun. It was our first time that we'd ever lived together. And honestly, that was fine. Like we didn't really have a hard time living together. That transition was pretty good. And it was kind of fun because like we fixed up that house a little bit. So we like painted and we bought plants and we like laid some tile down in some areas. We worked together on this goal of making it a home, which was fun. However, fast forward 8 months after living there, I straight up had a panic attack. And I was like, I don't want to live in Phoenix anymore. I just started realizing that my life was turning super monotonous, and I was working a 9-to-5 job that I loved, but it was very much like a 9-to-5. I was going to the same bars on the weekends, hanging out with the same friends. I felt like I was a little bit stuck in the rat race, and I wasn't loving my life, and I didn't feel like I was growing. I wasn't having a bad time by any means, but I just didn't feel like I was like growing or being my best self. And so I freaked out and was basically like, I want to get out of here. You can come with me or not, but like I've got to go. Alex's company he was working for at the time, their sales headquarters was in Chicago, and we'd never been to Chicago, but we had always talked about like, oh, if you move into sales one day, like how fun would it be to move to Chicago? We know nothing about it. He walked into work the next day and basically was like, hey, any sales positions open in Chicago? And they were like, yeah, can you start in 3 weeks? And it ended up getting pushed to 3 months, but long story short, he texted me while I was at work and is like, you're gonna need to get a coat. And I was like, oh no. Me throwing a fit ended up getting me the exact result I wanted, and I didn't see this one coming. Very quickly, we put our house on Airbnb. We packed up a bunch of our stuff and found an apartment here in Chicago and moved. We had flown in to do some tours for a weekend, and that was the only time I'd ever been to Chicago. And it was right after a polar vortex. So I remember we landed and it was 1 degree out, and I was like, I don't think I want to do this anymore. I think a lot of people, when they look at the timeline of our relationship, they see when we bought the house and they're like, oh, that's when you knew you were serious. And we're like, not really. When we knew we were serious was when we moved to Chicago. That was us like betting on each other, and we moved into a studio, and just knowing that we were starting over our lives completely fresh together, that was the biggest relationship thing. It was just so exciting to have such a big change. It just felt like the biggest adventure ever, and to do it together was so fun. And so we moved here in 2019 and we moved into our studio. It's so funny because I have all of this stuff documented on my channel. So we moved into this studio. It was great. Alex was working a 9-to-5. I was doing YouTube. I was teaching English online to kids in China. I was walking dogs and just like hustling, trying to figure out, could I make YouTube into like a real thing for me? The first year was so much fun. And then the pandemic hit. Alex started having to work from home. We were in this 400 square foot studio and he was on calls all day, and it was just like really unrealistic for us to be able to stay there. So we ended up moving in with his family in Western New York. Keep in mind, his mom is one of my best friends. At that point already, we were very, very close. So it was really easy to do. Plus they have a huge finished basement. So we had like a whole area to ourselves, but we moved in with his family. And that is when I started getting my leasing agent license during the pandemic, because I had literally nothing to do. I was no longer walking dogs. I was still teaching English online to kids in China. My YouTube channel, all of a sudden, like everything I was filming about of small space living in Chicago, Trader Joe's, I had none of those things near me and couldn't film on any of them. And so like I was figuring out what I was doing on my YouTube channel as well. Like it was just this very like weird transition area, but I got my leasing agent license. Fast forward a little bit. We moved back in July, moved into like our first 1-bedroom apartment. It was this corner apartment, beautiful view. That felt like such a huge transition, like such a amazing, exciting space. And I was so excited to be back in the city. And I think moving to Alex's hometown, I love going and visiting. I love being with his family, but it is a very, very small rural town. And so I just feel so energized when I'm in Chicago. So when we came back, I was like, oh my God, I'm home. Like this is where I want to be. Like I'm so happy here. And being in that apartment, it just like lit a new spark of life into me. I started working in real estate in October of that year. Because I'd grown a following, I had people who wanted to work with me to help them find apartments. And so when I did start, was able to take off on it pretty quickly. We could see the writing on the wall that this was going to be something pretty big for us. Within 6 months of me starting my real estate career, Alex left his job to come and work with me on this side. And that was like the craziest thing we've done, because his job was our stable income. I barely had income. Like I was making such little money in comparison. Real estate's not consistent at all. So it was super scary. We sat down, we made whiskey sours, and we wrote out all of our pros and cons, all of our fears, and we added up all of our expenses. If we looked at like how much are we spending on a monthly basis on everything, how much do we need to make to be able to cover it? We took our papers. We were living on like LaSalle and Huron, and so we went over to Wells Street, and there's a Italian restaurant there called Prosecco, and we sat at the bar of Prosecco and had a drink and had some apps, and we went through everything, and we talked about our pros and cons and like, did we think that this was a good idea? And ultimately decided that it made so much more sense to take the risk. And so Alex left his job and started working with me. That was the best. If moving to Chicago wasn't our best decision ever, then him working with me.
Oh, hello again.
Get out of here. You could use the bathroom downstairs.
No, sorry, please, my bad.
No.
Yeah.
Hurry up.
Working the best I can. Okay, bye.
Bye. But Alex and I working together has changed our lives in the best way possible. Hey, stop. It's given us so much flexibility. We work super hard. We work crazy long hours, but flexibility to travel, to be able to like go to the grocery store together on a Tuesday, but also because he helps me with filming, being able to like have him come with me to brokers opens and be involved in the team. And just like, I cannot imagine doing this without him. I can't imagine dating somebody and not sharing that, because I don't know what we would talk about all the time otherwise, but we spend all day, every day together. And it's literally the best. Like, he is my best friend. He's my favorite person to spend time with. So it's so much fun being able to have him be like the best business partner in the entire world, but then also my like husband and like partner in all life things as well. That same year in September is when he proposed to me. He had tricked me. He'd set up a whole fake client for me to go and tour and everything. And I had no idea. I have a whole proposal video up on my channel if you want to go watch that, but it was very cute and very sweet, and he did the best job, which was really special because Alex doesn't plan anything ever. So the fact that he went out of his way to do this like more grandiose proposal than I would have expected from him was very sweet. And then 2 years after that, we got married in October. My timeline moves a lot quicker then. We got married in October of 2023. This year will be our 2-year anniversary, which is crazy. And this year we'll have been together for 9 years, and I've known him for 11. So like there's been so much time of us like getting to know each other and like being together and stuff, which is really nice. And then the most exciting thing, this year we're having our first baby. Oh no, am I gonna cry? It's just the coolest thing to have like the culmination of our whole relationship like turning into this like physical baby. And there's nothing in this entire world that I'm more grateful than my relationship with Alex, honestly. And I'm so like, he's gonna be the best dad in the entire world. And like, I'm so excited that this baby gets to have him in their life as well, because I really just think the world of him. And I think that this little baby is so lucky. I'm so lucky. My life has been so wonderful in so many ways, but nothing compares to my relationship with Alex. I would get rid of living in Chicago. I'd get rid of my career. I would get rid of our loft. Like, all of it could go. I would live in the middle of nowhere with him in a hut, as long as it was with him. I feel so grateful to have him, because I know it's not easy to find your person, especially in today's day and age. And like, I just feel like I found the lottery. I literally do. And I can't wait for the years to come. And I can't wait for us to have this family together. And I'm so excited. I am so excited. So, God, that was a lot. I'm going to wrap it up there. Keep in touch. I love you guys. Thank you for caring. And make sure to find your right person, because it is the literal best thing in the entire world. I'll see you next time.